Okay, so this is my mare NESSY. When I first got her, she was taking the bit, but right away I noticed that she had a lot of tension in her mouth. She would press her lips together when the bit would get close to her, and you could kind of feel her clamping down with her teeth when you'd stick your finger in her mouth to pop open her mouth so she would accept the bit. So I did that a few times, and I started to get curious on what was going on and if we could make that better for her. So the vet came out, checked her teeth, floated her teeth. Her teeth are good. After she had her teeth floated, she was still sedated. She started shaking to get the speculum off of her head and get her mouth back closed. And so that just sort of showed me that this horse is sedated and they're still like, get the speculum off of me. So it reiterated to me that she had some questions about things going in her mouth and that it was an uncomfortable thing for her, and that, you know, just what I was observing was correct. And I kind of started to step back in terms of getting her bridled. So I started using positive reinforcement. I saw if she could put a piece of rope in her mouth using positive reinforcement, and she would. So I built up to a rubber bit, and then I built up to a smaller snaffle. She has kind of a narrow mouth. And although she was accepting all of those things, she was still kind of pressing her nose or tilting her head to just avert the bit going into her mouth. So she would take it, but it wasn't very elegant. So she had some time off. We did some things around the farm. The horses got a break. And now that I'm bringing her back into some light work, I decided that I really want her consent with getting the bridle in her mouth. So I'm still using positive reinforcement to get it in and out. Well, I guess I'm not getting it out right now because it's not going in. The thing that I've incorporated that's different is her touching the bridle to begin the bridling sequence to happen. I want her consent to be bridled, and I want her to feel good about being bridled. So she touches the bridle, gets a treat, does that a few times, and then we've slowly built up to the bridling sequence emerging. So this is probably 8 sessions into this new routine. So she touches it, we go ahead and get prepared to bridle, and this is the stage where she's at. She sticks her head quietly into the bridle and she waits for her cookie. I'm just starting to touch her nose and pop open her mouth. It's good because if she walks away and steps back, she doesn't get a cookie, but she is offered the choice to continue the training. We usually do about 5 or so minutes, a couple times a week, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I really just want her consent to being bridled. Although we're practicing here with a shanked snaffle, I'll be putting her into a rubber mouth bit when the time comes. I'm just sort of using what's on hand, showing her lots of different things, and we're just taking our time. So I would love some feedback on if we're on the right track, what people see, what you think. She's a funny mixture of a confident horse that's very nervous. So I've enjoyed just focusing on positive reinforcement with her and allowing her to leave town if she feels like she needs to. She can leave town and then she can make the choice to also come back. I really like that. I'm not really in a rush with her. I just want her to feel good about what she's doing. I know that if I get her feeling good about all of this stuff, that she's gonna be a lot more fun to ride. She's a nice horse, super kind, she's super good to ride. She just is a Greenbrook horse and has some questions. I'm just gonna go slow. She's quite a looky horse. She's looky when you're on the ground, she's looky when you ride her. She is starting to check in more. I really want her head to be straight and quiet, and then she gets her treat. So yeah, that's where we ended it. A little bit of a challenge putting my finger in her mouth, then ending it just with touching her nose and her head straight.